So obviously this has been an insane week of things happening in our world, right? And there's been tragedy after tragedy. And I'm watching the Today Show, and the girls come in as we're getting ready for school, and they're like, Mom, what happened?
Yeah.
And my heart just sinks because I'm like, God, I want to tell them, but I don't want to tell them.
Right.
And it's hard to know what to say to our kids. It really is. So I really want to get into that today.
Okay.
Welcome to It's a Mental Thing, the podcast that dives deep into the power of the mind and the heart of mental health. Whether you're navigating life's challenges, seeking balance, or simply curious about how to care for your mind, you're in the right place. Each week, we explore stories, strategies, and expert insights to help you build resilience, find clarity, and embrace a healthier you. So take a deep breath and let's journey together toward a brighter, more mindful tomorrow. Welcome to It's a Mental Thing, because your mental health matters.
All right. So it's heavy right now.
Yeah.
The world is heavy. The news cycle is heavy. Everything's heavy. And our kids feel it.
Yeah.
Our kids feel it. My girls are 11 years old. Your son is
7.
7. I also teach 15-year-old girls at church.
Yeah.
And so I've had the privilege of hearing very different perspectives from each age group that I've been around this week.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, I think they all get it.
Mm-hmm.
Some are more desensitized than others.
Right.
And then the little kids, I think it baffles them.
Yeah. So I broke down, and we'll get to it, how to appropriately talk to kids at different age ranges and like what to say and how to explain it. So we'll get to that. And, you know, my little one, like you said, he's 7. So on 9/11, they're learning that. But also on 9/11 and 9/12, there were terrible things happening in our world currently.
Terrible.
You know, my son comes home and he says, "Hey, did you know today's Patriots Day?" I was like,
So
what?
funny.
Like, you know, I'm thinking
Yeah.
of Patriots Day. And I was like, yes. Oh, yes, 9/11.
Yes.
He's asking questions about 9/11. He starts talking about the Twin Towers. So I'm so thankful that the schools, as a second grader,
Yes.
that's what they talked about that day.
Yes.
Rather than current events that were happening as of today or on that day and the day after. You know, he heard about the events that happened afterwards at home because we were scrolling through the television. It was everywhere.
It was everywhere.
You know, and he was like, wait, who got shot? Mm-hmm. You know, what happened?
Same with
And
us.
so as a 7-year-old, I was just like, oh, like, you know, I do not want to diminish what happened.
Right.
But appropriately, it is not for a 7-year-old to know that part of it is not an appropriate conversation to have yet. You know, when they are, for example, like 6 and under, you want to say something like, hey, buddy, like if I'm not feeling scared, you do not have to feel scared. Does that make you feel safer?
I like that.
And
Okay.
that way he can be like, yeah. And then he goes on about his day.
Right.
Because he's already an anxious little guy. And so to sit down and have a conversation with a 7-year-old about what, you know, an assassination is not something he can fully comprehend because his brain isn't there yet as far as developmental. 8 to 10, I would say ages 8 to 10 for kids, you can say something like, hey, something really bad and sad happened today, but we are safe as a family. You are safe. I'm going to keep you safe. And it's not something for you as the child to worry about right now.
Yeah.
So again, not diminishing what's happened, but making sure they know this is not something for them to carry. Then we get into, you know, telling them, hey, let the adults take care of what's going on.
I like that.
Let the adults take care of it. And they're going to take care of this situation. We're going to make sure everything's okay. But it's because, again, it's not within our control. And 8 to 10 to 11-year-olds, again, that fully developed brain is not there yet, not nearly there yet.
Yeah.
But again, to talk about a full-blown assassination at 8, 9, 10, 11,
Yeah.
we don't want them to associate every rally or every large group gathering
With fear.
as something that bad can
Yeah.
happen. Yeah. So then we move up to like 11 and up,
Mm-hmm.
where they're asking those questions, where they want to know those answers. And,
Yeah.
and those are things where we say, hey, I know you've heard it. You've seen it on the news. You've heard it from your friends. But let's, as in parent, adult, child, look at it from where the facts are and see what we can or cannot control in this situation. So again, not letting them determine I can control this situation, but talking to them about what happened, why maybe it possibly happened, and that it was a terrible situation.
Yeah.
So they have the facts, because our kids are seeing things on the news. Maybe their news is TikTok. Maybe their news is a current event they heard at school. They're hearing it and seeing it on all their social media platforms, and they're hearing things from their friends.
Yeah.
So at school,
And that concerned me a lot.
Yeah.
Because my girls being 11,
right?
they came in from school, and obviously I'm watching the news with the Charlie Kirk assassination. And one of them asked me, "Are you sad?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am sad. This is a really
Right.
sad thing that happened." And, kind of explained it to her. But then my fear came, not because I felt like that was an appropriate response
Right.
at home. My fear came in, what happens when she gets on the bus and someone that does have a phone shows her
Pulls
the
it up.
video that I just saw,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so that's a huge fear to me of
Yeah.
what can happen outside of what we can control in our
Right.
homes.
And that's the problem with parenting, is that we don't have that control outside of
Yeah.
home. And that's the problem on the school buses. That's, thankfully Alabama has passed the law of you can't take the phones into the school. You can't use the phones into school, which I personally think is a good idea, because I've only seen negative things happen with the
agree.
phones
Yeah.
at school. But we have to remember as parents that our children up until 25 or older, those brains are not fully developed to even understand or even rationalize what they're seeing, what they're hearing, what they're trying to understand that has happened, whether it's the current events that have just taken place or just in general.
Yeah.
So hearing mommy say, "Yeah, I'm sad right now," such a good response, because she wanted to know. Your child wanted to know, "Hey, are you sad about what happened right now?" Absolutely. Because a man's life was taken, and I feel sad. I feel sad as to why it was taken. I don't know why. I don't have the answers. And for her to have you label that feeling was huge for her. But yeah, it is scary to let them go back into school. Again, like from my age group, they don't have phones,
Right.
thankfully, at school.
Right.
My little one's not on the bus to see what's happening on their phones. Whereas 11 and up, that they're talking about it.
Yeah.
They want to know. And again, it's not an ill intent for 11-year-olds to pull up their phone and be like, "Look at it. Here's the video. Here's the video." It's gruesome. And for adults, it's like, no, do not watch that. You're not capable of rationalizing what's happening.
Right.
And you don't understand how possibly it could affect you and your psyche, but also how long it may take you to forget what you've seen. They're just looking at it as a video
Right.
of a gruesome video. So that part of it, of appropriately talking to our kids, like I said, with 6 and under, "Hey, if mommy or daddy's not scared, you don't have to be scared. And I want you to feel safe. Is that okay?" Then you get their response. Then you're listening. That simple part of listening, that 8 to 10, yeah, something bad has happened, and we're going to let the adults and whoever's in charge of what's going on take care of it. And then we're going to make sure it's not affecting us and our family.
Yeah.
But that 11 and up is, what kind of questions do you have? Can we get the facts and us talk about it together?
Yeah.
11 and up, I'm going as far as like 18. ish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or even 20.
Yeah.
Because there are 20-year-olds who are scared
Mm-hmm.
and they're on college campuses. So yeah, they can still come to their parent or to their guardian and say, hey, what's going on and what can you tell me? And the facts have to be what's given.
Facts and facts without opinions, I
Right.
would say.
Absolutely.
Facts without opinions, and also just not try, because I feel like even though my girls are only 11, they know when I'm like trying to
Yeah.
skim over something or hide something,
Yeah.
right? And so I do try to be very honest with them
Mm-hmm.
in the most appropriate way possible. Like, I'm not going to tell you exactly what happened,
Right.
but like, yeah, I'm going to tell you this happened. And
Right.
it was super sad. It's
Right.
terrible. We should feel bad about it, but I love that you say we are safe. Like,
Yes.
our family currently is safe. I think talking about that was so important. The here and now, too,
Yes.
for us.
And letting them know, because they are going into future. They're going into, okay, this just happened to him. What if it happens to me?
Right.
And so that's where the undeveloped brain goes. And for a child, they are looking for that validation and they are looking for that comfort, and that comfort comes from the adult. And so adults have to be very careful as to what they're allowing their child to see and what they're allowing their child to hear. And if their children are hearing the things at school, now we've been kind of stuck on politics or any, the current events that have happened here, but we're also talking like, this goes as far as like drugs at school or sexual things at school or fighting at school. All these things that they see and learn at school, they may be confused by it if they've never seen it in their lives before.
Yeah, and can feel scary.
Yeah, and they're scared, and so they want to come home and they want to say, hey, Sally had this little plastic thing in her pocket today, and she put it to her mouth and she smoked it, and smoke came out of her mouth. So for us, we know, okay, she probably had a vape, right? So we know those are big and going in and out of schools. And if a kid's never seen that before, they're like, what was that?
Right.
That was kind of scary and that was
Right.
weird. I don't do that. I don't know what that is. So they need to have that open space to come home and say, not tattletale, because we don't, but we're trying to get information.
Just sharing information.
Yes.
Just talking.
Right. And, even when I was a middle school counselor, we don't do Alabama. I think it may just be Alabama. I don't know. There's other schools too where we don't do sex ed anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not really even, we don't have health classes in middle school anymore. There's more science. You're learning about it in science classes, like what the physical anatomy is, just the
Okay.
biology of it and anatomy of it.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. There's no more sexual education classes, which I personally think as a therapist, it needs to be taught in a way that is appropriate
Yeah.
for ages. What's appropriate touch? What is not appropriate
Yeah,
touch?
I agree.
What is safe? What is not safe? When can you say no? Always. When can all of those things? Because if we're not teaching them as professional adults or professionals who come in and teach those kind of things, like at the school I used to work for, we would have Children's of Alabama come in and teach.
Right.
And they would talk about those things so that these kids would know, oh, wait, I have been touched in an inappropriate way. I don't like that.
Right.
This wasn't right. I get to tell an adult. And sometimes that takes years for someone to admit. But we do have parents who are so afraid for their kids to hear that. But from my perspective, from a therapeutic standpoint, is do we want them to hear it from a professional adult, or do we want them to hear it from their 12-year-old best friend?
You're so right.
And, so and if they have a parent that they can come home to and say, somebody got caught in the bathroom doing something, I don't know what it was, but it was disgusting. Like if
Yeah.
that's an 11-year-old's brain, that's where an 11-year-old's brain should be.
Sure.
It should be, I heard
Yeah.
this happened. I don't know what that means, but it sounded disgusting and now they're suspended.
Yeah.
Right. Consequences could happen. But do you want your 11-year-old to then go and ask their 11-year-old friend, what'd they do?
No.
No.
Don't.
Yes, you don't. You want that open line of communication from your kids in an appropriate way to where you can say as their mom, same thing with me as a 7-year-old. Thankfully, he's not even there yet.
Right.
I'm his girlfriend. That's fine. When you get 11 and older, the questions happen, and you want to be that parent that says, listen, you're going to have some friends that are doing things that you are not doing. Mm-hmm. That's them. But we're not following their roles. Mm-hmm. We're not following their rules. We're not following their paths. It's not right. They're not thinking in a way that they should be. They need some help as far as like talking to a professional about what they're going through, maybe even what they went through as a child. Mm-hmm. But appropriately talking to kids about things that they're afraid of is so important.
Yeah.
And if we're not talking to them, I promise you they're talking to their friends about it.
Right.
And that's not what we want.
So do you think as a parent, this is something that I should bring up, or should I wait for them to bring it up?
Concerning which topic or all?
I don't know. Let's kind of encompass all of it when it comes to like they're getting home from school.
Yeah.
Do I say, hey, like, how was your day? And then they shut me down. And,
right.
All that. Or do I just wait for them and then just kind of ask questions and listen? And
yes. So simply, we just have to listen. Like, I have that in my notes. The simple thing to do is to just listen. Okay. So we don't want to jump to conclusions. We want to help them feel safe enough that they can come to us with their questions. We want to ask them what they are feeling and what they have heard, so that we're getting their information so that we can correct any misinformation.
Okay.
And we want to do that in an appropriate way.
Yeah.
So as parents, we're never going to be like, hey, did you hear about sex today? Hey, did you see someone vape today? Hey, did you see someone say a cuss word today?
Look,
hey,
and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not above doing that.
That's fine.
If they're not giving me the information, but
right.
I just need to chill.
Yeah, and that's why we have don't jump to conclusions, because sometimes 11-year-olds, 7-year-olds, mine, what'd you do at school today? Nothing.
No, every time.
And I'm like, okay, so did your teacher teach today?
Right.
Yeah. What'd you learn? Nothing. Okay. So what was your favorite part of the day? Recess?
Yeah.
Lunch? Okay, did your teacher do a great job today in the classroom? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you learn anything? Mm-mm. And it's like, so that's trying to connect the dots. And then, I'm done. So nothing's been brought up to me. I'm not going to jump to conclusions as his teacher didn't teach a thing today.
Right.
No, this is a 7-year-old.
Right.
Telling me that he enjoyed lunch and recess today.
Right.
Did he learn? Yeah. He brought home an 8 out of 8 today. So he did his homework. He did his classwork.
Yeah.
I'm not going to jump to conclusions. 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, that brain is really getting developed into things they've never seen before. Mm-hmm. Jumping to conclusions is jumping into, what'd you see today?
Yeah.
Did so-and-so do this today? I heard Erica was doing this today. Did you see her? No. Mama, we're not doing that. Daddies, we're not doing that.
Okay.
What we are going to do is say, I need you to know if anything interesting happens at school, or if anything weird happens at school, or if anything happens that you are uncertain of. I'm never going to be mad at you. I'm going to be more proud of you for asking me what that is.
I like that.
So that's it. And leaving it
like
there.
that.
Because then you're letting your kids say, all right, nothing happened. But when something does happen and they genuinely believe that their parent is someone they can come to and say, I saw a vape for the first time today and it was scary. And then you can say, yeah, then we're teaching them, listen, vaping, really ruins your lungs. It's not something we want to do. It's really not healthy. It's someone's coping mechanism that their thinking's making them feel better. But, there's so many other things we can do. So you're trying to get the facts from them, which even if it's misinformation,
right,
you want to hear.
We're listening.
Yes.
We're listening to all that information.
Right. You want to hear from an 11-year-old,
yeah.
Hey, they were smoking something that was in a plastic tube and it looked like and in your mind you're like, okay, it was a vape.
Right.
In their mind it's this concoction of who knows what it is, but you're hearing from them and you're getting an idea of, okay, they've got a best friend that vapes. How do I deal with this? Do I cut that friend off? Do I tell this to my daughter and say that's just that's what they're doing. I don't agree with it. We don't do that in this household. We're not judging against that, but it's not what we do, and it's not healthy. Again, those are the appropriate conversations we
Yeah.
have, instead of we're cutting them off. You're going to homeschool. You're never doing this. Because I mean, I was a middle school counselor
Have
for
I
8
thought
years.
of homeschool
Yes,
before? Yes.
yes. Oh, I know. I mean, and even after, when we hear of these school shootings and we hear of these
Yeah.
things that are happening, parents all over the world
Yeah.
are like, kids are coming out of school.
Yeah.
That's it. And being a believer, I drop my kid off every day and I'm like, okay, Lord, protect the school.
Protect him,
Protect
yeah.
the school, protect my
Yeah.
kid, protect their teachers. And that's the part of faith where we have to say, that's all I can do.
Yeah.
And that's a very scary thing. And that's the same thing with teenagers and young adults and tweens, the vaping, the sexual activity, the fighting, the cussing, all the things
Yeah.
that they are experiencing. We have to get into a way where we can have an appropriate conversation with them,
Yeah.
because they are feeling scared too, but their brains aren't developed enough to kind of comprehend what they're feeling.
Right. And I've noticed that it'll kind of come in spurts with my
Yes.
girls. Like everything. Did you have a good day? Yeah. Everything was fun. This girl, out of the clear blue sky, this girl was cussing at PE today.
Yeah.
Was she?
Uh-huh.
Tell me about it.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
so I'm just pulling that.
Yeah.
Pulling. And then she'll just spill her guts to me. But it's like on her time.
Yes, but it's when she feels the most comfortable too.
Yep.
So she has felt, okay, the door's opened. Mom hasn't like pried or kind of got it out of me. She's just like, how was your day today? I said, okay, and that was it. And then all of a sudden it's like, I'm going to tell her. And then it comes out.
Yes.
So that's an appropriate response for an 11-year-old. They're only going to spill the beans when they want to.
Yeah.
Or when they feel like, okay, I was in a dangerous situation. I need to tell my mom.
Yes.
Or, you get to a place with a kid where you say, listen, if you find out, like, and this is the audience. So if you find out your kid is in the mix of something they shouldn't be in, there's a conversation you can have with your kid as to, listen, if you don't tell me what's going on, not an attacking way, but if you don't tell me what's going on and something happens, the principal will, or the school counselor will.
Yeah.
So just letting kids know, like, we've been kids before. My parents found out everything I did.
Right. Everything's gonna come to light.
Everything is you're gonna get caught at
Yes.
some point. My teenage patients that come here all the time, they're like, oh golly, my mom found out. I don't know how she found out, but she did. My phone's taken away. My keys are taken away. The door's off the hinge. And I have to remind them, like, listen, I know,
Yeah.
like, you did that months ago, but they found out.
Yeah.
And so the best thing would have been what? And they're like, I should have told her first. And that's how our kids have to learn that.
Yeah.
But their little brains cannot comprehend, I'm going to get away with this. And you're not.
Yeah.
I always tell my patients, hey, listen, you're not going to win this fight. You're just not. And I get it. I've been there.
Yeah, we've
I've
all
been
been there.
14.
Yeah.
I've been 15. I've tried to lie. Did it. Got caught.
Yeah.
And so we're teaching our kids the same thing. So we can't stop parenting, and we can't be our kids' friends. And that's another part of it too. And I have here too, like, boundaries. Kids shouldn't be watching the news constantly. Kids have to have limits on what they see, whether it's graphic, whether
Right.
it's not graphic. We have gamers. What kind of games are they playing? Are you monitoring their social media? Are you monitoring what they're playing? The scary information that they're seeing, that they're hearing. Maybe you have a kid who likes scary movies. Okay. But that boundary has to be, this can't be consistent.
Right.
You
And it's
know-
like, okay, you like scary movies, you watch the edited versions.
Right,
Like,
right.
There's things
There's
you can
different
do.
versions,
Just
yeah.
put those boundaries in place.
Again, because their brains just aren't at that place where they can fully understand what they're seeing,
Yeah.
what they're hearing, the gruesomeness of it. Like, I can watch scary movies, Halloween movies all day long. They don't scare me. I probably watched them as kids, but I'm not into gruesome, like, really gory
Yeah.
stuff.
Same.
I'm not into cussing every 5 minutes, and I'm not going to let my kid do that. I'm not going to let him be exposed to any of that until he's ready to. But if anything, if there's something that is upsetting we have to let them know that we are here to listen and they can ask us about it. So those boundaries have to be set. And boundaries are, hey, if you know someone who's vaping, I don't want you to hang out with them as much. If you know someone who's involved in any kind of sexual activity, it's not really safe. It's kind of dangerous at your age. I don't really want you to hang out with them as much. Again, we're not trying to say you can't be friends with these people. I want
Right.
you to cut off all. It's a boundary that we're trying to set to protect them. And again, all of this is what's appropriate and what age group are we talking about? Like I have an example of my little baby when he was kindergarten or first grade. He's only in second, but he is a social butterfly, and I don't know where he gets it from.
I do.
I did too. He went up to a bunch of third graders at after school care and he said, "Hey guys, y'all want to play football?" Because he's cool, right?
Obviously.
And well, actually, let me take that back. They were playing football already. He says, "Hey guys, do you want to play freeze tag?"
Okay.
Okay, so you look at this little baby kindergarten first grader, and you've got third graders who are playing like football, like tackle football, and he's walking up, "Hey guys, y'all want to play some freeze tag?" And he's so cool, he's so confident in it, and they look at him, and they're like, "No," right? Like just
Yeah.
And so he's like, "All right." You know, heart's broken, shattered. He wants to play. Goes home. First thing he says when he gets in the car, "Mommy, some people were really mean to me today." And I'm like, "Who was it? What'd they do? What'd they say?" So I get into that mode, and then I hear he's like, "Well, I went, over there to the grass and asked the big kids if they wanted to play freeze tag," and I was like, "Oh, baby, like what did they say?" And he was like, "Oh no, we're playing football," and I was like, "Okay," and I said, "So listen, I don't think they were being mean. I think they were being third graders, and they were already playing their game, and third graders are playing this big sport." And you're wanting to play freeze tag, which is a really cool game.
Right.
Super fun, but it's very different as far as age.
Yes.
And so he had to hear it that way instead of like, "Who are they? Where are they? What's their name? They have to play freeze tag with you."
Right.
He
Appropriate
talk to
response.
these kids.
And listening.
Yeah.
You were listening to what he said.
Yes.
Tell me about it
And not
before I
jumping
jump to conclusions.
Yes, because I wanted to be like, "What'd they say to you?
Yeah.
What'd they do?" But then you hear a little first grader who wants to play freeze tag, which is appropriate
Yes.
compared to a third or fourth grader who's playing tackle football. So all of these things, whether small or not, you have to understand how to speak to them, not jump to conclusions, and just simply listen in whatever they have to say.
Yeah. I think that is key. I think that's key for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Just open up those ears a
Open
little
'em
bit more.
and
Ask
listen.
some questions. And not jump to conclusions.
Yes.
I feel like that could be the ending of any podcast, not just appropriately talking to our kids when the world is
Just
scary,
listen.
right?
Yeah. I love it.
Be sure to follow our podcast on your favorite platform or find us on YouTube. Just a quick note. If you're facing a mental health challenge, we encourage you to seek help from a licensed therapist like Erica or a healthcare provider. Remember, your well-being is personal, and only a professional can provide guidance tailored to your unique needs.